Anthony Davis is reportedly out for at least the next month, owing to a pretty serious foot injury, and that put the Lakers in a bit of an inflection point. It's true that they have been playing better since starting 2-10, especially on the offense, but they still hold a very average 13-17 record. What they do for the next 4 to 6 weeks will ultimately define their season, and that's where LeBron comes in. First up, LeBron James needs to step up and show great leadership to get his team in the right frame of mind for the upcoming weeks. Like we said, the Lakers are currently standing at number 12 in the Western Conference. Their saving grace may be the fact that their schedule is somewhat manageable until the last few days of January. That gives them a pretty decent opportunity to salvage their season and put themselves in a position to become a playoff team once Davis returns. But again, to make that happen, LeBron James needs to put his best foot forward as a leader. A big part of that means getting his players to believe that they can perform perfectly well without Davis as well. Also, James has a history of getting his teams to dig in and respond effectively to adversity. Let's go back to 2021, when the Cleveland Cavaliers ended the city's long championship drought after completing what was perhaps the greatest comeback in the history of the NBA Finals against the Golden State Warriors. The historic achievement was only made possible because of LeBron James' extraordinary effort and play, which allowed him to cement his legacy as an all-time basketball great and Cleveland sports legend. James demonstrated 3 particularly outstanding leadership qualities that made this success story a reality. Let's talk a bit about them. First off, he accepted the challenge to do something great. When he was first drafted right out of high school in 2003, expectations for him were high. After failing to deliver in his first stint with the Cavs, he broke the hearts of many fans in Northeast Ohio by leaving for Miami and winning championships there. In the meantime, the Cavaliers regressed majorly. It may have been easier for James to stay away, but he showed the character of a born leader and decided to give back to the city that had such high hopes for him. He was confident in himself and his abilities and didn't shy away from the challenge just because it was going to be difficult. In fact, he saw opportunity in obstacles and capitalized on the opportunity to achieve greatness by overcoming those obstacles. Secondly, he made everyone around him a lot better. According to USA Today, he's a giver. He's always looking out to take care of people. He's always been nice to everyone. That's what Cavs coach Tyronn Lue had to say about LeBron. What Coach Lue said rings pretty true, because that's what James said about his fans in Cleveland. He talked about how they were ride or die, and that he fought so hard for that exact reason, because his fans were right there supporting him no matter what. What's even better is that LeBron takes all that energy and passes it on to his teammates as well. According to Coach Dambro, even though LeBron is in the top percentile when it comes to physical attributes and fitness, there are a lot of other guys who are in just as great a shape as him. Regardless, he said that LeBron has the ability to rally people, to help people who had problems on other teams play much better with him. No one can deny that that's a valued trait in a leader. The impact of this was demonstrated in the play of his teammates coming from behind against an exceptional Golden State squad. Finally, when things aren't going according to plan, he proactively responded and made needed changes. One of the main reasons that Cleveland's win in the series was so unlikely was that they came back from 3-1 down, something no one had ever done. After the decisive game, LeBron talked about how he had put in a lot of time watching videos of earlier games so he could carefully study what had gone wrong and come up with strategies to correct it. How did he correct it? Through additional practice and preparation, of course. According to USA Today, the general manager of the Cavs confirmed the amount of time and effort LeBron devoted between games in the series, stating that he got his work in before they even flew. He also applauded the player's single-mindedness and focus, which he used to overcome setbacks, as well as to make himself and his team better. Despite his great leadership over the years, he has had his share of criticism. Since Davis joined the Lakers 3 seasons ago, they've been playing super well, but only when he's been healthy. When he's been injured, they've struggled quite a bit. One thing that teams need to do when a superstar from their team gets injured is get their players to step up their game, and not just in terms of production, but also in terms of their mindset. When teams and players accept such injuries as a challenge, rather than surrendering to them, the results can be pretty great. According to James's critics, he packs it in when his Lakers teams deal with major injuries, and we can't really say they're wrong. For example, in the 2018-19 season, which was James's first with LA, he suffered from a groin injury on Christmas Day as the team got out to a 20-14 record, but that was followed up with a couple more key injuries. Even when James was able to get back on the court, his body language wasn't all that great and suggested to many people that he'd given up on his teammates. Whether that was true or not isn't important. It's what many people saw and believed. Fast forward to 2 seasons later, the Lakers survived injuries to James and Davis in the regular season to take a 2-1 series lead over the Phoenix Suns in the first round. But then Davis suffered from a groin injury in Game 4, which LA ended up losing. That's when the team's prognosis started looking not so so great. In Game 5, according to his critics, James was passive. He didn't seem like he was willing to take control of the proceedings and wasn't leading by example or galvanizing his teammates. So now, James has the chance to prove those critics wrong. He's been accused of being a frontrunner and of packing it in when things get difficult. Now that the Lakers have kind of a favorable schedule for the next couple of weeks, the four-time MVP needs to embrace the challenges that lay ahead of him and his team and take the opportunity to prove the naysayers wrong. Also, Austin Reaves definitely seems to believe James can make that happen. A few weeks ago, Austin Reaves knocked down a late clutch three-pointer for the Lakers in the win over the Pistons. After the game, he spoke about his mindset late in the game, knowing that LeBron James would make the right play. The moment was a signature one in a growing list of them for Reaves and LeBron. As someone who always makes the right play late in games, LeBron never considered forcing up a contested jumper, but instead chose to draw the defense and find the open player. That ended up helping the Lakers seal a win record on their road trip. This is the kind of play that's been criticized for when the shots don't fall for his teammates, but that's never stopped him from making them. And when it comes to his teammates, they seem to get a sense of expectation for how the end of the game will play out. According to Reaves, he thinks LeBron's been criticized all his life for making the right play late in games, instead of forcing a shot. He said that when you're playing with James, you know that he's gonna make the right play, and that's typically what you need to expect from your leader and one of your best players to do. Moving on, LeBron having trust in his team to go along with his plays is a driving force for the Lakers. For a team like the Lakers that has constantly turned over players during his tenure, James constantly placing his unwavering trust in them is empowering to teammates, especially when they're newer to the roster. It also allowed them to adapt a lot more quickly and work on constantly improving their chemistry with each other. And as for a Lakers team this year that has experienced that turnover, getting the reps and having a bit of familiarity has been super important. Reaves definitely seems to think so. Here's what he had to say. He believes that it's all about playing and getting reps with one another. He added that late game situations early in the year would usually have them pretty shaky because they wouldn't have closed on any games with 3 or 4 players on the court that hadn't been there previously. So at that point, it would always come down to having a sort of untalked chemistry and knowing what everyone is likely to do in all situations. Let's end it by going over LeBron and Reaves sealing the victory with a clutch three-pointer versus the Pistons. Despite 30-point outings from James and Davis, it was neither of them who hit the biggest shot of the game. It was Austin Reaves who made the game-sealing three-pointer in the closing seconds, which put the Lakers up 5 points with 12 seconds left on the clock. There were several points during the game that the Lakers looked like they were going to run away with the game before Detroit started pulling back. The Pistons turned it into a 2-point game in the last 30 seconds. With the game on the line, a driving LeBron dished to Reaves, who was in the corner, and that put the Lakers up 2 possessions, which pretty much sealed the victory. After the match, LeBron talked about his faith in Reaves even though it was just his second season. The chemistry between James and Reaves has been evidently remarkable, and we're hoping James makes use of that as part of his leadership strategies for the upcoming games. And with all that, that's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on LeBron's leadership pulling up the Lakers games this season? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching,